Take this. Total 85 or 55 calls. So take out what got canceled.
So now what?
18 they had for canceled. So it's only 55 actual calls.
Okay. Oh, okay. So 73,
Yeah. 18 of them were canceled.
and in the last month, only one was, but of the six, there were 6 calls. There were 5 of them. Okay. I see that.
Just stand for the pledge of allegiance. Says time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call a meeting to order. I'll make a motion, we adopt our agenda and maybe make a change that we're also going to review the report with the one son.
Gotcha.
Number 10.
Number 10. Okay, any other changes at all? Not, can I get a second on that?
I'll second that with that change.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 30th, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not going to second it because I wasn't there and I haven't seen them either.
And
They weren't in on one.
you want to look at them? I'll give them to you to look at, but he wasn't here to prove, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion staying.
Have to check.
Well, it's just,
I thought I went out and updated all of them that needed to be, but maybe I missed that, because they are not in chronological order when you go out online.
Okay.
It's
well,
confusing.
usually I get an email from a few
Liz.
Liz, and wanted to see what you guys did last week. Couldn't see.
Well, until you approve them, I don't put them out there online.
Oh, okay.
Meeting's 10, please.
Okay, I've got one, and when I get done here, I think we can just go right ahead and do that 14, couldn't we? It's a discussion on action on the tuck pointing bid.
Sure.
Okay. At 8 o'clock last Thursday morning, I met with Josh Schmeiser, who is the owner of TMT Tuck Point and Building Restoration. They, at the last meeting, had the high bid, the only bid, the low bid, the only bid. That's the way to put it. And I said that I wanted to meet with him and go over the scope of work. I did. It was interesting to talk about the area that they were going to do completely, the area that they were going to do partial. We looked at some of the cracks that have developed in the stones that are bottom of the window sills and the top, and what they were going to do with that. We discussed the sealer they were going to put on there. When I got done, I had a better understanding of what we needed to do on the building. I saw what had been done in prior years, this and that, and different things. I'm happy with his explanation for what he's doing. I believe that while he's doing it, I might stop down here a few times, and I'll probably ask him to go over what he did with it when he's done.
Okay.
So with that said, I'm happy, and can we go to 14?
Sure.
And then I'll make a motion that we approve that tuck pointing bid for the courthouse and the annex.
Is that your motion?
Yes, motion that we approve that.
Okay.
And last week we went over it. We had the total amount. I don't have it on this. I'm sure it's still here.
It's right
It
here.
was $122,000.
Yeah, put the whole
Something or the other.
folder in there,
I'm,
in case anybody wanted to review
Do
it.
you have a second, Chris?
Yeah, I will second that motion.
And Chris, do you have any discussion? I know it's.
No, I want to thank Randy for doing that.
Yep.
That
I just feel better with that kind of money. Yes, I know it's a very expensive building to replace with this and that, but I just want to see, especially when we have one bid.
When you get over to look at it, you see the need of it,
Oh, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
because there's a lot
And
of.
you know, he was talking about the top edge that they were gonna do, and standing there,
You can see it.
it worked, yeah. I
You
was,
see the corners of broken brick.
yep.
Thank you. Okay, no more discussion. All in favor?
I,
Motion passed.
the south parapet wall, which he has photos of, has always been a.
Yep.
Okay, any other meetings attended?
No.
I had met with the DNR last week, I don't know what day it was, over the special, coming up with out there at the transfer station, a kind of agreement, an understanding. They want the floor empty every night, but we don't have to raise it. We'll do wherever we gotta jump through to keep us from spending $500 to $1 million on a wall, pumping water. The whole area is, it's weird, but this is what we live in. But so what we have to do is we're going to get some containers to put, basically everything's got to be in a container. Nothing can sit on the ground out there anymore, not even appliances. Everything's going to be in it because it's in a floodplain. If we have to have Noah's Ark type of flood, that we have to have everything removed. What we've made up, and we're gonna do it officially, we'll take it to the containers to somewhere it's out of the way at secondary roads or conservation, one of our properties, to set it on to, and not be open, but to get it off at premises, we have to have a flood evacuation plan, so we're gonna do that. The floor has to be empty every night. It's part of the agreement. So if we have to cut our hours back to make that happen, we will do. Or the worst scenario, if we can't comply, we can, or they make us do we'd have to close. So this is to keep it open, keep it accessible to the public, but it's getting silly out there. I don't know, I've lived around here 61 years of my life and I've never seen that flood, but it might be, but could happen. But we're in it, we're trying to comply with the state, and
they're trying to work with us. I think they did very good coming down and before it was pretty much you're putting a levy in, and then they realized that we don't have the funds to do that. It's not just a levy, it's handling all rainwaters after that fact. If it gets contaminated or somebody spills some oil, since we do take oil into that water when it happened to be, when it rained a bit, we'd have to handle it as contaminated water. So there's a lot of others involved in that. I think it was 2 hours with them. So we're going the right way. We're just, we got a year to come up with a plan, but we're gonna try to do it as soon as possible. So we're setting really good on as far as what we have in the bank. So this is gonna be something that it's gonna be a little setback, but this is a major thing to keep it open for the county. So I think that's about it. It's out to the complex. Air conditioning's about done. Had a lot of calls about the concrete, but I haven't let anybody around it yet. So the ads being noticed, but not able to get a contractor on site yet. So working toward
That
that.
ends on Friday.
And I haven't talked to anybody yet, so, you know, that here. They asked me if they wanted to meet with me, and I said, anytime, just call. I haven't had a call back to meet, so working on that. So that's all I have. Now, public input. Any input?
I saw in the paper a few weeks back about needing water out to the transfer station and that the city wasn't willing to do that.
No, that wasn't true about not willing to do that.
Okay. I mean,
It was,
you do fast.
Yeah, we checked, I talked to Mike and we looked at it and we can get it from Grimm's back there. We can get across there.
We got a hydrant right there.
We gotta get an easement. We have a sand point out there. We just don't have the volume to hose. We don't want to hose because if we hose out there, we have to capture the water.
Deal with it, I understand.
So what we're trying to do is, and we will probably get with the city and with all this going on and annexation and stuff,
Yeah.
we might be able to just to get hooked up to it and pay for it. But thanks for bringing it up. But what we have to do is we have to sweep every night and stuff like that. And they asked us about a hose down policy. What we're gonna do is just a dry cleanup policy. Okay, thanks. Anything else, Sean?
Nope.
Amy, got anything? Yeah, Jim? Nope.
I
Okay,
may hold comment back until
Okay.
number 16
okay,
and happens there.
okay. Anybody online got a comment? Keep forgetting about that. Okay, payroll changes. I did not see any payroll changes.
Okay, I don't have any here, so that's not a.
Yep, take that back. There's one, 2 of them stuck in the back of this one.
I thought there was some in there, but
Yeah,
that's.
sorry about that. Back in the minutes.
Friday was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, there is some.
2 of them.
Okay.
Payroll changes have been reviewed. Okay, number 8, payout, resignation payout for Katie. And you have both of them, and then we have number 9 for Jacob, so let's do number 8 first, when you guys get that reviewed.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Is everything all right on this, Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one's first?
8, please.
8, okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the payout for Katie Walker, second deputy, the auditor's position. Total payout $10,788.85. That's vacation and comp time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do the payout for Jacob Kerr with vacation and comp time of $2,532.70.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Here, I don't know if you've seen that, a Tom Woodruff letter.
Yeah, I gave it to you.
Did you? Okay.
Here's the 2 Morning Sun areas. I've reviewed them. Morning Sun and the Wapello. There's no action to be taken, it's just a review.
Morning, Bill.
Hello, Bill. Hello.
Okay, you had a chance to look at Tom's,
Yeah, I'm reading it again right here.
sure,
Um,
whenever you're ready, let's discuss it, no bigger.
Okay, it just, you look at it.
Yeah.
We need to agree on an amount for the next 5 years. Apparently, $2,000 a year is adequate, isn't it? To take care of the mowing and this and that?
That I can't.
We probably need to confirm with,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to look at it because,
I think the conservation board needs to look at what their cost is for doing that. Is that enough money?
yeah, we're paid by, the state to pay that. We raised our rates for the state, due to their other expenses going up also too, for taking care of the mounds and stuff. Yeah, so, and I need to look at that. I don't have that information ahead of me. I think it's gonna be okay, but I don't have that information.
Well, they will wait and
We'll
take care of
wait
it.
to run
Let's-
that by the board, conservation board.
Yeah, have the conservation board have the discussion
So I think
before
we
it comes
ought to
back to us.
table that
Or refer it to conservation.
and refer it to, and have them do it. We'll bring it.
Yeah,
back to you.
refer it to them and have them bring it back.
I have a motion to
That would
table
give us
that.
a-
I'll make a motion to have conservation review it and table it.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay, here you go.
Aye.
Thank you. How's Tom doing? Everybody doing good? Anybody heard anything? I haven't seen him for a while. Okay, we got 9 o'clock.
The 28E is fine. I thought Adam emailed.
Okay, excellent.
Adam.
We finally got a,
Yeah,
Okay,
and,
the attorney's opinion on that.
yeah,
this has been going around for about 3 weeks. So that would be number 13.
I'll make a motion that we sign the 2080 agreement with for mutual assistance and sharing of veteran service officers with Muscatine County.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Talking. Oh, it must be you. I was thinking, what is that? Okay, you got a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Good, got that one out. Looks like that's been going around for a while. Okay. And you got that?
Yes. You sign that,
Sorry, please. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit. 9 o'clock. That point's done. Wait for Adam on 15. Little froggy out there this morning. We're getting in that time of year. I knew kids as soon as they went back to school, winter's gonna be here.
Pretty well assured.
This year's going by so fast. So then bids are open up till Friday, so I'll get with everybody today and let them know. Well, we got the claims we can go through, guys, and make sure everyone's got a chance. Maybe try already doing it, so. Get ahead of it.
Remember squad car get wrecked?
I don't know if it was,
Wasn't, it was
deer, wasn't it?
There was a deer on
Yeah.
this last.
Okay,
I don't know
okay.
any other one. I thought we
I
had
just
two
went to
deer
Brandon
heads.
Body Shop, $9,800, so.
Morning.
Morning,
Morning.
how are you?
I'm better. Thanks for asking.
Good,
I
good,
think I'm just about back in the saddle.
good.
Great.
I'm glad to hear that. Takes a while.
It
That's
does.
Wow, blades, secondary roads, $23,000.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say a year ago, that was like 10,000.
Yeah,
And they've doubled like every other darn thing in the world.
wow.
Yeah, I buy a lot of nails, and last year nails were $23 for 2,500. They're almost $90 now for 2,300. Isn't that amazing? Yeah,
If it's metal, it's doubled. If it's plastic, it's tripled.
yeah. You can't get them, yeah. It made sense when steel prices, scrap prices were high, now they're low, why is steel so high?
Cause it can,
Mhm.
and they will.
Okay, Mike, how you doing?
How we doing today?
Feels like a Monday.
It's true.
I don't know where those 3 days went.
Is that here this week?
I thought so.
Yeah, that's one this week.
We spent a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
Might be waiting until later to tell if that was on.
See,
And such as it. Something different.
on our, trying to think of the problem.
I'll tell your wife there's speed limits out there where she rides a bike.
For the taxes from.
Until she's fast. I never seen them ride a bike that fast.
Glad we don't ride together because I don't.
I know.
Rubber, doesn't she? How far does she ride? Probably, I think she said between 10 and 12 miles.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
For utility taxes that we see. But they, it's supposed to be showing up in all of
Right.
18 months after
So
we started to roll
when this
off.
guy goes out, ask him.
I've been, and I have to have.
Good turnout tonight, you think? I just want to ask them to.
I haven't gotten on.
I look for.
This morning.
I'll go on that group.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
To see what our members are that they're gonna be sending me, because I have to have our stuff downloaded to the Department of Revenue.
Emergency management. 1,707,
There's some
Where's
on
that
my
tires,
and
yeah?
some on a seven.
or something like that.
Tires are about $250 a tire.
That's all I'm gonna get. Should we look at that or just, I guess I can ask Brian. I'm gonna let him ask him. If he's extra.
It sounds like he's there.
It does?
Yeah, I hear him on the phone.
Because it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but everybody's. And he was only looking.
Everything looking okay at the house?
He, Ron got that truck about
And I didn't, he told me that, and I didn't think about us to discuss sometime when I was there.
Were you at the last meeting?
I'll talk about this.
That thing.
Before I left for,
What is it?
Yeah, Mike
Discuss.
church.
You just give it over.
Yeah.
So whoever got.
It's supposed to be public information I got on there like the other
I
day.
just got to take a wall out. And then the wall was
Yeah, I
on. So he did
New
some
tires.
carpenter work out there, or
I'll
he
get
was
it.
outside to do it.
Yeah, new tires. Yeah, but, so I figured I would give like $100.
Walk through, I usually try
I
to
didn't
bust
want to
it
dig it
twice
out.
and run the water.
Yeah. I went the easy way.
And you got the email about the buildings, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could. Brad, he's on the road.
It's in the back. We can see it.
Okay.
Yes, I
Are they stuck on? Okay.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we
Get out and
approve
open the
claims
gate.
for September 6th, 2022.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I know, the one thing, what I got left here for $1,100 on the, from emergency management, was new tires on the.
Oh, pickup. It don't take long. It's something.
I figured that was, yeah.
Motion carries. Okay. We have a couple more minutes. Is anybody else coming in you guys know of? Let's go and get started.
Had some papers for you. You don't have enough, I can tell. Add more to it. And I don't know what kind of report you get, but I'm gonna give you the report that the city gets on the ambulance. Let's start with the second page of the two that are stapled together. That's the one that we'll start with. So they give us a report to us every meeting, which is twice a month. And it details, the very first top part is where all of our calls are going to. Great River, Trinity, Henry County Health Center, goes right down the list. You can see on to the right the totals. Where I want to start out is the total calls. It's about halfway down the sheet. It's in bold. 424 calls for the year as of September 1st. September 1st was day 243 for the year. So that's almost 2 a day, pretty close. Of those calls, the next line down, 231 of them was in the city limits of Buffalo, and 193 was outside the city limits of Buffalo. Okay, that's 54% of our calls are in town, and 46% of our calls are out of town. The next line down is Adam 2, which is our second out ambulance. There's 28 calls for that one. So that means Adam 1 was gone somewhere and Adam 2 had to be called out. And then the next one is our new truck, and that's Med 1. It's our old Wapello Police Department truck. We turned it into a Med 1. Now what that truck does, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, guys. Let's say Columbus Junction doesn't have a paramedic on staff, but they have their ambulance out, and drugs need to be administered or advanced life-saving. They'll call. We'll throw one of our paramedics in, him, Damon, and he'll fly up to Grandview and meet him, or go to Columbus Junction or the scene, or wherever it needs to be, and be the paramedic on scene. The problem with Med 1 is we don't always get paid for that. So that's, do we ever get paid for that? We never get paid for that. So that truck and that service is being provided by us 10 times so far this year, because that started in May when the police force was disbanded. It's just some service that we're providing. Now, you can see that as we go down the list, the tiers, the next one says tier MS, that's Morning Sun. That's the ambulance running the Morning Sun. And tier to Louisa County Ambulance, that's A. Those are now Med 1, right?
Yeah,
Those are Med 1 calls now. Mutual aid given. The Morning Sun, 21 calls. Mutual aid given to Louisa County, 28. And now we're doing mutual aid to Mediapolis as well, because they can't always staff their ambulance service. So Buffalo is now taking northern Des Moines County. That's 53 calls so far this year. That's approximately 1 call every 4 days. outside of our quote unquote territory, I guess we would call it. So, and then if you go down a little farther, mutual aid received, that's they helping us one time. So I think you can see real quick that Wapello seems to be the one, everyone's back up. We're backing up the entire county, and we're backing up northern Des Moines County. That is a huge drain on our resources, not to mention wear and tear on our vehicles. And fuel, you know what fuel prices are right now. We don't always get paid for all those. Some of those are no transports, and when you do no transport, you don't get to charge for that. You may show up, help them with a bloody nose, whatever, and then just go back to your base. If you go to the last page, the individual page, that's our budget for last year. So if you take the $400,838.05 and subtract it from the $396,756.30, you come to a staggering grand total of $4,875. That's what we're in the black last year. We made $4,000. And that includes your contribution, the county's contribution to $37,000. So you can see that we're not making a ton of money here. And it doesn't necessarily have to, but the problem that we're coming into is our fleet is starting to get old. And at $4,000, there's not enough there in reserves to get a new ambulance or update our equipment. The guys are real good about getting funding for some equipment. And thank goodness the hospitals are restocking us. They weren't going to. They kind of cut that off, but there's enough outcry that the hospitals now are doing that. If you go to the very first page of the handout that I gave you, you can see there was 423 calls to the date. September 1st of 2021 to September 2022, it's a 29% increase in calls over that same period.
What do you think's causing that 30% increase?
I don't know. For us, it's a 29%. I don't know what that is. That the age of the population.
Well,
Maybe
We're
we
still in
more help.
COVID era. Well, increase in mutual aid
Yeah.
definitely contributes to that.
Our first out truck is a 2012. It's got 141,000 miles on it. It has had some maintenance issues in the past. We're okay right now, but I want to be proactive and not reactive. I don't want to sit in here when we've got one blown up and then try to figure out what we need to do. We want to figure it out now. The box was manufactured in 2000, so that box has already been remounted once.
Well, twice
Twice?
by another.
Okay. The parts are hard to get or non-existent to repair the box, and it's time. It's time for a new ambulance. Our second out is our four-wheel drive. It's a 2010. We purchased that a couple of years ago. Not the smoothest riding truck in our fleet. It's a four-wheel drive. We felt it was important to have that for the wintertime around here. We're working on trying to make the suspension a little softer because it's not very good. And then our last one, of course, is our new Med 1 truck. It's got 57,000 miles on it. But of course, it was a police truck, and you know how they're treated sometimes. Nothing against our police department, but there's a lot of idle time on that truck. So if you translate that out, it's probably well over $100,000 miles on that motor. So the problem that we have here is we spend an abnormal amount of time outside the city limits, and it's unfair to the citizens of Wapello, because they're the ones that are funding this ambulance. With the exception of $37,000 and $37,506, your contribution. Almost half our calls are outside of the city limits. My biggest fear, now that we're helping Minneapolis as well, is that somehow the perfect storm arises. We have a truck, northern Des Moines County, Adam 1. Adam 2 goes to Gladwin, wherever. And then there's something that happens in Wapello, and a Wapello citizen needs care. We don't have an ambulance for transport. They're the ones that are paying for the ambulance. So something really needs to happen here. And I'm not asking for a bunch of the world. What we need to do is be able to have enough money in there to replace the ambulance. I would say at least every 5 years would be fair.
What's the current cost of it?
We just had one in the base, 150.
No, for cost to replace the ambulance, about 300,000.
And that's a 2023 current, that's not.
Well, it may be a 2024 chassis by the time they become available. But chassis availability, cost of chassis, that's really driving the costs up on a lot of them.
Like everything else, we're just not setting on the lot.
Right,
You have to get one.
Yeah.
So even if we wanted one today, we may not get one. It may be a year.
Yeah, truck chassis are about a year and a half out. Vans are between anywhere from 9 to 15 months out.
There's a problem coming. And again, I want to be proactive, not reactive. For some reason, Wapello ambulance goes down. What is that going to do to the county, the northern Des Moines County?
Yeah.
What's that going to do?
yeah. And we stay up, we watch the call volume, and we recognize exactly what you guys are talking about. This is not new to us. We watch it every month. We see your reports. We grade talk.
We're not against helping. We
No.
really aren't. With the guy.
We expected you to be here.
Awesome. It's so.
This is not something that shocks us. This is-
Something
we
needs to
see this
happen soon. And I'm not the one to come to you with problems, just problems. I have solutions too.
Yeah.
One of the solutions can be institute that emergency services tax and divide it up amongst the ambulances within the Louisa County based on dispatched calls. Calls that come from dispatch, not transports, physical, and you can track that get called out through 911 or whatever services. That pool of money can be divided every month and put back to each service. The more calls you do, the more funding you get. That's fair. Of course, the other easy way is just to throw a bunch of money into the donation. But again, if we do it that way, that's how do you treat other services the same when the majority of the calls are being.
We currently do that now, and I don't think that's a fair way of doing that. And I think we need to look at case by case myself, because we throw money into each fund, and that's not right.
Well, we need a tax force. And we've got that ability to
We've
do
talked
that
about
now.
that.
We've
Yeah.
talked
All of
about
us
it.
have talked about.
We just talked about how that tax structure would work.
Right.
You know, there was talk about the county running it all, and now we've got the cities running it, and so on and so forth. But that doesn't mean that we still can't pass that tax in this county. And then we wouldn't have this 37,000 that's coming out of the general fund.
As of right now.
Correct, we wouldn't have that, but we
Right.
would have the money that we were taxing for to be distributed.
As of right
You'd be
now.
looking at close to 100,000 back in your general fund.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is
Actually be taxing
And
for
taxing
EMS.
specifically for EMS, rather than taking it out of the,
it's coming
That's
from
what-
our
what
loss,
needs
not
to-
our general.
Yes.
that's what needs to happen. Well,
Yeah.
but we can use that law somewhere else.
Right.
So anytime we can keep that
And we also have,
we can find some place to do it.
we have our PPP, that we can use for this also too, so.
Well, I just look at the
But
percentages.
that's a Band-Aid.
And
Yeah, right.
that's
But
gonna be gone
right.
one of these days.
Right.
It's gotta be gone by 2025. So, but there's
I,
ways that we can do things for immediate and then look at the tax for long term.
And I know other ambulance services within the county have their own issues, and I'm not here to discuss whether or not what Columbus or Morning Sun, I'm here to discuss Wapello, and these numbers don't lie.
yeah, but these numbers wouldn't lie if we did it at Columbus Junction.
No.
or what the Suns. They're all, there needs to be a better, more steady stream of income, and the way to get that's through a dedicated tax.
From
That takes care of it.
from my standpoint, a more equitable way, especially when 46% of our calls are going outside of the city.
And then the ones going into a different county, I want to address that with them supervisors also too, because there has to be a way that has to come back
Yeah.
into Louisa County. Because you're right, it's growing.
You're right, and I don't know if that's my, it may be, because we're technically, I guess I'm in charge of local community ambulances, go to Northern Des Moines County or Minneapolis and say, hey, we're willing to do this, but something needs to.
Yeah,
I think we need to address that outside the
And
county.
whether that's a combination of you and I both, or I
We'll
don't
work
know.
together
I
on
don't
it to
know
make
that
sure it
is.
gets handled, but
But that's step two.
Yeah.
This is step.
and call volume, going off call volume, I agree with that. You're gonna get so much money because of the call volume. If you've got more volume than the other ambulance services, you should get more money.
and we
So I,
Based on call.
That would
I think
solve
it's-
I'm willing to work with you any way we
I
can
think it's-
to go ahead and get this, it has to
I think
be put on a
together
ballot, and we've got to vote on it. and
with
the
all
county
three, we
does.
need to work on this taxation part.
Yes.
I think, and I volunteered as a driver on the ambulance.
Yep.
Service now, and I always thought it was important when you actually go out on the calls and you look at the person in the eye that's having a chest pain or whatever, even if it's a nosebleed, it's important to them or they wouldn't have called, and I think at one time or another, every single person in this county is going to need that service at least once in their life.
It's a peace of mind for the ones that don't.
When they want it, it better be there. If it's my dad that's having a stroke, that thing better be there.
Hmm.
Now, I worry about Minneapolis. If you've got an emergency and next thing you know, you look up and you see Wapello ambulance come screeching to a halt. Why is Wapello here and not Minneapolis? Why did I have to wait an extra 10 or 15 minutes? Again, that's their problem, not necessarily ours. It kind of is, but right now we're only on 4 calls so far for the year, so it's not out of hand, but it could be.
I know I've heard a couple come across and they cancel before you dispatch. I don't know if that's on that sheet, but
Yeah,
I
those
know
are under
there's-
canceled.
Yeah,
I
the
know
very
the
top
potential's
line
there.
is canceled, it's 21 calls.
We hear you.
Um,
I'd like to maybe continue this meetings. I think this is something that can't end here today. I think we need to talk, maybe we can get together as groups and have special meetings. We hear you. We're willing to help whatever direction. it
And I
needs.
don't think it's unreasonable to have Columbus Junction and Morning Sun here. I don't want it to get bogged down with semantics. I want it
It should.
bang, this is
because
how this needs to be done, and this
Well, I'm
is an
sure
important part. to
neither one of those
the
are
county.
gonna be against dedicated tax to fund all this.
That's why it's.
I don't, they aren't, they're gonna,
There was some comments in the past that some services felt because they were smaller, that they actually needed a bigger cut of the pie, which
It's
I
backwards.
disagree
just
with.
go off volume,
I agree.
totally off
I
volume
agree.
calls.
And here they are. Here's the
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
We see them every
Right,
month.
and we can get, and we just
Get
reviewed,
that from dispatch.
we just reviewed Morning Sun, and we review, Columbus Junctions also, so we see the call volume. I've never had anybody add it all up and say this many in a year's time. but we're well aware of that.
You know, if the call volume for Wapello was 90-10, 90 in town, 10% out of town, I wouldn't feel so much. but
Probably never been that way.
When it's half, almost half and half.
Yep.
Wow,
This is the first we've ever seen a figure like
it's
that.
nuts. And,
We just see calls.
you know, Med One running that is being completely funded by Wapello with absolutely no funding whatsoever. Fuel, the people, the maintenance, the wear and tear, all of it.
The population is in our two cities, Columbus, well, three, Moines, Sun, Columbus, Junction, the small. That's where the population is. So it makes sense that you would have more calls there than out in the county.
And I don't know what the dollar amount is. I don't know what that magic number is total. If you wanted to take our total budget and divide it up 54 and 46%, I would say, okay, 46% of our calls are outside the city limits. 46% of our budget is your responsibility. I'm just throwing numbers out so you guys can get a handle on where I'm coming from. And you need to get the information from the other two ambulance bases. This same information, I don't know if they're keeping track of it.
Yeah,
But the
it's
same
all the same
information.
format.
And maybe that's how you can arrive at the number and then say, okay, this is how much we need to tax for, because this is the pool of money that we have to deal with.
Well, I think that's the first step, is to get these figures from the other two ambulance services
Yeah.
and have a meeting
Yeah.
together with those and come up with an amount that we need to tax. But then we need to get at this taxing,
Yeah,
because
and I
it's
would
gonna
really
take a year and a half, I think, before we would ever see money coming in.
Yeah, I think Wapello really needs to get on the horn here and start seriously thinking about an ambulance. And asking some questions, if we ordered one today, how long would it take to get it?
Mhm.
And if they say a year and a half, then however hard that's gonna be, we need to figure out how we're gonna get that order placed and move forward.
See, this is what we get from, so we get the exact same, this is Moines, this is what we see.
Okay.
And then, Columbus Junction, Mike's got them all set up where they're all basically the same, coming through to us. So we see the outside calls. And they had a total of 73 calls for the year, one sound, but 18 of them was canceled prior to, and so the 55 actual. So you can see the difference.
I think the vast majority of them are probably to the health center.
Yeah. And they have transport,
center.
they put down transport. Or something. So you can kind of see what we're seeing every month. And then we get the same thing from Louisa County. Everybody uses the same Mike's output. So
We do pass up calls weekly on transfers. Wapello gets called by Southeast Iowa Regional and West Burlington to take a transfer to Iowa City, to take a transfer to Blessing and Quincy. I mean, I can't in good faith say, oh yeah, that's why you didn't have an ambulance. I'm sorry about your family member, but you know, we had an ambulance going to Quincy. No way. You know, if that's the straw that breaks the camel's back on where we don't make but only $4,000 a year at the time being,
We're doing something.
then that's the way it's gonna have to be. Because you don't want that happening in your, you know, if it's your family member, so.
right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Help.
The only.
And then it's a business, believe me.
Yeah.
I mean, I work for the transport
It's
service
profitable.
at the hospital, and, you know, we're running 1,500 a year transfers, you know, not 911. And sucking everybody else into it, Burlington Fire, Lee County and Henry County, but they will call us, and
Well, if you could take advantage of it, it would be a money maker.
if you could, yeah,
If
that
you
would
could,
be cool.
maybe,
But you pull your resource, when we're the backup for the county,
yep.
and we're pulling our resources out to do a transfer
I get
on.
Thank you for not doing it.
We
You
But
almost
it would
would
be
have,
nice if
You'd
you
have to have a
could.
whole set. We
something
may bring them
Yeah.
from Burlington back to
yeah,
our care facility,
We've done
our
that.
own citizens, but we're not gonna take them from Burlington to Quincy.
and there's some logistics in that, because before I take that call coming back, I make sure there's a dedicated crew here to take the ambulance out, not an all-call like normal for the second ambulance. So,
How about we, have
Let's
a meeting,
request.
let's have a meeting, we'll get everybody together, all three groups, we'll have another meeting here, we'll get back on this and start getting some tax information. Let's do that.
Figure out what we got to levy for.
Yeah, we need to know
Might
what we need to
Talk
levy
to
for.
that John, that you talked to the loss.
Yeah.
At Dorsey, was it Dorsey Whitney?
Dorsey.
Just talk to him and get some ideas on timing and what all needs to be.
So let's do that, and then maybe we can get Dorsey on a Zoom and kind of help us guide us, help us set it up like other communities, but let's get on this maybe in the next couple weeks. You guys good with that?
Yeah, I can be here next week.
if you wanna write this down, Worth County, Floyd County, Worth, Floyd, and O'Brien counties were the first three counties in Iowa to start this essential service. So the wheel's there, you don't have to reinvent it, just kind of see what they're doing and
I've got some of that information somewhere in a
Great.
folder when we first started talking about the cities taking over
Some of them
ambulance services and
took
stuff.
over the actual ambulance though, so this is a little different.
sure.
But the process for,
The taxation.
Taxation
would
was
be
the same. yeah,
And if we can get a template, it'd be.
And we've danced around it. Randy and I have talked about this the last couple of years off and on, and you and I, we kind of danced around it. We never really kind of just stuck a pole in the ground and said, here we go. Now it's time. I think now it's time.
Let's do it.
Yep.
How about we'll get something, we'll just shoot for like 2 weeks for agenda, and maybe we can get a hold of him and get him on Zoom, and that way he's here to kind of lead us in a direction we need to go.
You're gonna contact the other two ambulance services?
Should we do that? We'll take care of that.
Okay. We'll be here.
So we'll do 2 weeks out, try to get something going, do it maybe at 10 o'clock where we have a little time to
Whatever.
discuss.
so we have a special meeting after the board meeting.
It tends to drag on a bit.
Yeah,
so I would say that we
Something
could
to
just-
say, so.
We could, right after the board meeting, whatever time that is, and we'll have this
That's why it's
special,
kind of shoot for 10 o'clock.
we have a work session with the ambulance services.
Sound good?
Yes,
Okay,
Thank you for coming in.
thank you.
yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for what you guys do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You
guys get the letter on the annexation. The letter on the annexation.
It was in there. Last week.
Oh, last week's, but not from today.
Oh, yeah, it's tomorrow, so I
Yeah,
just did make sure.
Yep,
Got it, somebody showed up tomorrow.
Okay, no, we got it.
All right.
We got it last week. I thought she was talking about something this week.
No.
Seen nothing this week. Thanks, Mike. Yep. Okay. Adam. How are you?
All right. I guess the first item, let's get this application for approval for construction on the Louisa County right away. Allowing them to upgrade cable along 142nd Avenue at the intersection of 100th Street. That was actually, they were actually doing it, probably already done. I was out driving around and I said, hey, you guys have a permit? And they thought it was in the city. It wasn't in the city, so. I don't know if they talked to the city or not, but this thing is already in the ground and done, so we just need to stamp it. Yeah, so Dave Conley came in and apologized for it, that there was mix up on it, so.
Or is it put in on the
Well,
shoulder area?
oh,
well.
Copy.
Thank you.
So it's along, it's beside, I mean, they're Midwest.
Okay,
It's along there and they board on under 100 streets.
okay.
Something that we would have probably approved anyway.
Okay. Everything good there? You guys want to make a motion on number 15, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve Louisa Communications application for construction on Louisa County right away, upgrading cable on 100th Street.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. What else was going on in the county world?
No, construction's going on the 3 bridges project. The G28 bridge is open to open traffic now. All the guardrails done and all that. Everybody's happy up there, I guess. They are pouring the approaches on G44X today. It started at 7, so they're
As we speak, they're doing it, right?
good. Yeah, so they'll.
How many days after?
They should have it done today.
It's pretty tough to keep making excuses
I
to
know,
my guys that are leaning on me.
I know. Well.
They're okay, we got through it. Thank you for calling me.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing could have happened here is I told them it was gonna be done today, and it wasn't. Now I gave them heads up and said, okay, not a lot we can do, it's gonna be another week.
Yeah.
And they all were at least appreciative that I
Yeah.
and you had told me so that they were aware of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through this.
I had in my notes the Friday of Memorial Week, so that would be
It's-
nice.
Yeah, but it's gonna be
Yeah,
the
it's not
13th.
gonna, so they poured the concrete today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're wanting to come in Monday and get the shoulders done, and Tuesday get the guardrail done so it can be open traffic. I'm not circling them,
But
just
that's
knowing,
what that was my last,
just knowing how things are
Okay.
going, that there's a limited amount of guardrail contractors and they're working all over the state and
Harvest.
everybody else, so I
harvest is where
probably that.
all those guys that have stuff on this side and that side.
Yeah.
But
I
we've been
understand.
through this
I
before.
understand it's,
How
I
bigger
think it's
deal?
Oakville and
They
a
did
longer and,
We did the same thing then.
you know.
It looks like it's gonna be okay.
So that's what's going on there. They started milling up on 305 last Thursday and Friday. It's all milled. I'm talking asphalt maybe tomorrow. So if that all happens, if things go well, they should have it hopefully done by Friday. You know, let them come back in with rock and painting and things like
Yeah,
that. But that's if things go well, so.
Okay.
So that's what's going on there. They're putting rock out on X17 now as we speak, or supposed to anyway. So that should be rocked and all ready to go. We'll have to wait on painters because the same painter crew is running around everywhere else in the state. So hopefully by the middle of next week we should have all projects wrapped up. That'd be the plan. So we plan one of that asphalt trail up in Columbus coming up sometime later in the week. I think their late start is like October 3rd. I assume they're gonna be pushing that. So got that going on. Crews are out ditching in Hallmark. So got those couple problem roads ditched out and laid it up now, so that's going on there. Got our job opening, we're down to 18 again, so we have a guy off for a few more weeks and then a guy gone, so in theory we have 20 employees at the secondary roads, but we haven't had that many for quite a while, so.
Okay.
We'll see how the hiring goes. So we haven't had a lot of applicants, and that's always a issue. So other than that, it's gonna get together with the DOT sometime. I think not this week, but the following week to talk about entrance into Wapello and kind of where the update is on terms of right-of-way acquisitions and stuff like that. I get or we get asked every other week, hey, when's the DOT gonna talk to me about my property, or where's the road gonna go, and all this kind of stuff. So we kind of asked the DOT if they could just give us an update, I guess, on some things. So
I think Torres emailed us with a date.
yeah. Hector, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come, it's fine. Be there. So
Possibly.
Okay.
So that's going on there. Working to get that next bridge up on Evanson's W66. That'll be let out in November, so get some things there. Sounds like Hire will be here, one of these two, to do our parking lot. So got that good going on.
You're gonna put an alternative driveway in it.
Yeah, we'll either go through conservation or that other entrance, so.
Okay.
Other than that, just trying to stay busy here, so.
Well, the biggest thing that for the state in this county is, I don't know if you drove 78.
Should be done, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
half of it, I think they got a lot more to do, but it's finally a smooth road on part of it. It's some of the best blacktop in town and around this county, but finally after the residents in that area got something they can, everybody's teeth are gonna get tightened back up and
Yeah.
start to look good.
I think they might have another lift on that, but are gonna do the concrete. You're gonna put asphalt over the concrete section here coming up, so.
And they're gonna put another coat over top of what they did, so.
I'm looking forward to how G44X is gonna ride,
Yeah.
because that's always been tough to go down that hill.
So it was interesting, we got down there a couple weeks ago, when they excavated that concrete, pulled it all out, there was water sitting at the base of that bridge.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's been freezing thaw every year, and water sitting in there, it's black dirt, it's
Isn't that-
smell bad and all that.
You know, the contractor went broke on that hill
Oh, I didn't.
40 years ago when they concreted that road, turned it from a gravel to hard surface. Contractor went broke on that.
And
Oh,
that
really?
bridge
Yeah,
was rough
because
in
of
79.
What they got into when they got into that hill.
Yeah.
The springs and this and that and couldn't work, and it was a mess all the way, making that cut deeper like it was, and
There was a spring on that hill.
Yeah. that is a mess, always has been.
Yeah.
And we fought that hill all the years I worked there, replacing pieces, doing this, doing that,
I wish they
hillside
What about
sliding. Huh?
I wish back in the old days, I wish they would have ran a little bit more tile on the
Oh,
shoe.
I know.
But yeah, so anyway, it should be good. Their other two crossings or the approaches were nice and smooth. This one's a little bit different, and it's got a 6% super elevation around there, and it kind of changes as it goes through. So it's odd spot to have a bridge there on a horizontal and a vertical curve, but they're doing good on it. So
Okay.
we'll see how it turns out.
Shoulder, when they was bringing the shoulders up, on a couple roads, I had a couple motorcycle complaints about gravel on the roadways.
But we have a rule, you can't run a motorcycle on the gravel, so.
I just got is that Grandview where I had conversations, getting some fuel. Somebody said something about
Yeah, we usually on this time of year, we come and we pull all that gravel back into the road and hope to get it all ironed out before this snow flies, so.
Well, this weekend was a big motorcycle
Yeah.
thing, and I just started drinking.
Yeah, I had some people up in the northwest were complaining about all the traffic up there. And yeah, that one call came in on a Friday at like 3 o'clock. I'm like, well, there's not really not a lot we can do over the weekend here for you. So
No, things look good though.
good. So all right. Well, if anybody has any questions, just give me a call.
Anything?
Okay. Thanks, Adam.
Yep, thank you.
See you, Adam.
Adam,
Oh, man, forgot my. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Yep, you're welcome.
We got a little bit of time, 10 o'clock.
Here's the new Senate File 615 that created the,
Essential service.
created our ability to tax. I don't think we need to look at that. That's there. It's a matter of what's the procedure. And that again is the guy that helped us with the other stuff. He's gonna tell us how to go about it. I knew I had some of it. That's just,
See, originally, we was trying to get that on the ballot. And I think we just kind of dropped the ball.
oh, now just a
Remember
minute. I do have here. Vote yes for EMS. EMS is essential. Special election, list dates here. It's the Wright County Board of Supervisors proposed the EMS system and will offer for voter approval in a special election, countywide special levy to provide the funding necessary.
Yeah. We
Okay.
talked about all this. He was supposed to put something together, remember?
Yeah, see, it says Wright County Board of Supervisors hold public hearing. Here is a lot of that information on how to go about. I've got that here, so when we do get him,
But remember, we did talk to him to get us something set up to put together, remember?
there is, I'm glad that I've still got that stuff. I don't know if I need it. It's there. If anybody,
Yeah, we just need to get him. Maybe we can talk to him prior. To our meetings.
well, I think that it isn't gonna take much for the 3 ambulance services to agree to do
I think,
this. Is it?
yeah, I think it's gonna be, because I think everybody's gonna want, like Morning Sun, that would mean their funding would, be decreased. You know what I'm saying? People by call, so I think there's gonna be a little bit of.
But that's the fairest way to do
I'm with you.
it. Okay,
I'm not against that. I think there's gonna be,
okay.
just do that. Hi, Adam. I just think you're gonna be.
Okay. Well, that's-
Because they're-
Yeah, I was just like.
Sorry.
What is people by call?
yeah. It's a start to the discussion that needed
Yes.
discussed a long time ago. We're gonna get there.
Now, did we have him on
It's ready for all.
I know they still get this. That'd be eliminated, so what is that?
A source of giving the money. So,
We talked to you about law.
Yeah, we did lost early.
We had to
so that
renew
we could
lost.
have a
So
second
they
chance
can call
to
us
get
out,
it done
so
if
we
it didn't pass. It won't be on this law. That's over.
Yeah, but no, we need to get that. So we need to start looking.
A little low.
50 or 60.
I see both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So they should get a higher command limits and building.
Yeah, yeah. We over, yeah.
How's that?
Not bad, how are you, Brad?
Good. What have you been up to? Been kind of quiet since you don't have a murder trial on,
Now I've got to do all the stuff I wasn't
hasn't
doing.
it?
It's a pile up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just. Don't go away when you're busy on something else. Just backs up. It does. I'm gonna wait closer to 10 o'clock. So that's why we're waiting in case anybody else comes in and stuff too, so. Stay as close as what we have scheduled. So Bill, what have you been up to?
Not much of anything, just trying to keep going. Oh, we got you.
Halloween.
For a
Right,
meeting coming up in a couple weeks. whenever that happens. For ambulance, somebody will file the ambulance reports for the last 2 years.
They're talking about the other day, it's weird. I like to be
Because.
prepared, like, I almost had all my Christmas shopping done, like one of those great.
Wow, my wife.
And then we were buying.
Yeah.
Sandwich post now, we're getting the weeks.
Maybe you don't have to, they probably use it, just give our copies of the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'm like, should we get her big campers now? And I'm like, no.
They have it at that meeting because I think, like, we're looking at right now, so as far as year to date. So if we go year to date, maybe from when we have a meeting, if it's from September 1st, 2020, September, so we can look at what happened with COVID, and kind of see the direction. Because I think that numbers, when we're looking at taxation and call volume, I think it's gonna, a lot of people can have arguments, we can look at data that's pre-COVID, after COVID, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna have to do something, stop that, funding's gonna be changed. And it's always, I think it's always been that way, but I wanna make sure Louisa County, the ambulance system, how they've been pre-COVID numbers and then what we're at now, where we can kind of see, this is where it's been heading for quite a while to show people. I don't think a lot of people realize that these ambulances, over 1,000 calls in this county with all 3 of our ambulances. I don't think the public realizes how much our services So I think it would be nice to have that number out there for everybody to see for public. Because,
Well, I'm sure that we're going to have to sell this to the public because we're creating a new tax. Anytime that we take upon ourselves to create a new tax, you're gonna have to sell it to the public.
so I think we need a
You know, so-
pre-COVID and COVID numbers to show that how we're heading.
And it's
I used them
it's
twice.
probably gonna be $1 million
pre-COVID,
tax,
and none.
if not a little
So-
more.
I bet it's over there.
I mean, just to look at their $400,000 budget times 2,
Yeah.
William Son.
And then you gotta have tax in there for equipment replacement. So I bet you're looking at 1.5. At least, minimum.
I hope not, but
Well,
when it was
you
like
won't
that,
need the full amount of the budget. We're not going to take that $400,000 budget and tax for every penny of it, are we? Because they're making revenue, so their revenue is going to go to help with that. So we won't have to tax,
Yes.
we won't have to tax for that full $400,000, maybe 100,000.
I'm not sure. We'll have
No,
to
right, because I
take
used them
that
twice. and
payroll and it has to be the tax thing, so
Well-
it'll be in that essential service thing, then the money will go back into that. It won't go into the city's coffers, if we do the tax,
No.
it'll go into, just like we would do for our employees or anything else, it has to be
Yeah.
controlled by this lady here as far as,
So it's just like,
it can't,
It's gonna be
Yes.
interesting doing it,
yes.
but I don't think that.
So yes, the whole number will be there, but the money coming in will go through that.
Oh, the
You
whole
see what I'm
money will
saying?
be there, but
Yes.
what comes in then will go back.
Back to that, because it's a
Okay, and
tax.
then when you're done, you
Yes.
can say, this is how
This is
much.
what it costs.
now it's awful generous.
So it has to be done different, we still can't
You
have,
can't just, I got it, I see what you're saying, but that's just as part of the discussion. It's gonna be,
yes.
I'm excited.
I know.
I'm glad
Flat,
that they're,
okay,
they're
flat.
finally, not understanding, but they're finally in agreement with us that we need this as a taxable service.
Yeah. And hats off, I mean, they're doing 47% of the county's thing, and they're still in the market.
Yes, yes, that's great.
They're running the business well. But I think we also too need to look at, we gotta start making some good decisions for the county. We got 2.4 million that we gotta get going. That we're on, right now, I know it's 22, but we're on 23 budget. We have 2 more budget years to figure out how to spend the rest of our money for it's beneficial to our taxpayers. We have to start making some decisions. We have to have us all ready by 2 more budget years to where we're gonna direct spend. So we need to start,
Get the dirt about.
Can we buy some ambulances?
that's what I'm thinking. Because
I've said that all along with some of that.
this is the best
rescue money,
opportunity to do
you
it.
know.
Yeah.
A new line of equipment,
Yeah, like
to get everybody started off on the same.
was,
Now, as, if one's got more call volume than the other, so on and so forth, one piece of equipment get used up faster than the other, but all that can be talked about, so.
yeah, we can also too, if this is essential, the ones that have higher call volume in the future, maybe we can replace ambulances and move the carriages to another department that don't have the call volume, you know what I'm saying? Recycle, figure it out.
That's all,
It's just like.
I'm excited about having this discussion.
Yeah.
I think this might be the solution to some of the problems that we've had.
But we need to look at that.
A much more equitable
Yeah.
way of everybody getting.
Providing the service.
Because we can order a couple new carriages right now and not have to worry about it and have them for, I don't know what Columbus, but they got an older unit, we can look at.
They've all got older units, no one's got any
Was
front
look
line,
at-
you know, maybe everybody needs a brand new ambulance, and then all the stuff they've got now can be second and third.
Or at least have it in the backup, I don't know how
I
deep you
don't-
want to go to.
I don't know either, this is all I'm just talking out loud.
Nope, I'm with you. I am
There's
too.
a
That's all.
thing I'm saying
It's a
right now.
brainstorming.
Gonna happen, we're just talking
Yeah.
about it. But there's, now that everybody agrees that we need to go ahead and have a dedicated tax for it, and not everyone, Wapler does, we'll see what Columbus Junction and Morning Sun says. But I would think that anytime you figure out a better and more of a tax stream, would be better. So,
The last time.
whatever.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Terrific. How are you holding up?
Good. Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was good. Made it to the Iowa game.
Yeah?
I didn't look great. I don't know if you watched it on TV, but it didn't look any better in person.
Blowout.
Pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Very good defense.
I think I turned on the TV, the score was 5-3.
I thought you was watching a baseball game, huh?
I was watching the low range. I was watching the rich one, yeah.
Talking about your age.
5-3.
I watched it.
I do too, that's good. I like Westerns.
Quarterbacks are us.
We got a meeting in Mount Pleasant, Illinois.
No, till next week. 14th to 15th.
You sure?
I'm just looking at it.
I'm gonna have to do some checking.
Number 14th at 12:30, my meeting with us. You're usually the same day, but at one.
Governing board meeting on the 14th. I'm off.
Yeah.
I thought it was tomorrow. I got it down on my calendar as tomorrow, but then I go back to my email. Okay,
Then I think how many.
maybe I better change that.
And then I have the judicial aid at like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock that morning.
Okay,
Run.
well, I don't have anything yet. I don't need the rest of the week. Got the furnace fixed at my house. That's all going forward. Selling the house,
Oh, for your mom.
yeah. Yeah, well, you weren't here last week, when I was talking about that furnace issue. I'll get something to get it fixed. I gotta go there today. buyer's happy with it, and they'll sign off on it, and we go forward from there. And the abstract across the street to Jay.
Here, I think paper, what all did you have down, just the courthouse in general for?
And I have the parking area.
So, yeah.
Drive. Also, I would have to look.
That's. Judy gets the bill and her brother's supposed to pay it. We've been close here a long time. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, it is now 10 o'clock. So Adam, Paul, is there anything, I think we just need, before what you guys want to do? It's 10 o'clock, so let's go ahead and,
We just need to go ahead and vote, don't we? I don't know if there's any more discussion. When I saw on here a possible closed station and Adam, I said, okay, do you have anything more to add?
It's my recollection that somebody had asked for a closed session to discuss further, and that's probably why they got put on that way.
I didn't ask for it. You asked for time, more time,
Just have to table it.
so I don't know as if any of that, what's on there is,
And she might have misunderstood.
But
I don't need to talk to you anymore, Adam. And, I don't need a closed session.
Yeah, that's up to you. I
Okay,
don't,
that's what I figured.
I
You're
don't
just
say we need
here,
a closed
you're here
session.
because it's there.
If you have questions or want to
I don't-
discuss more in closed session, you can vote to have one, and if you don't need to, then you don't need to do
Okay,
it.
I don't need to.
Chris, you need.
no, I don't need nothing. I'm ready to vote.
Okay. I'm ready for 16, whenever.
It's just gonna be a voice vote, just aye,
Motion.
whatever, a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion to reaffirm. I think that sound right? I'll make a motion to reaffirm my decision to remove Sam Wilson from the Conservation Board.
We'll second it. Okay. Any discussion?
No, I don't have any discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, motion passed. Sam is removed from the conservation board. Can I have some? You didn't vote. Right. No, sure. I only voted one at a time. Just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, any other business brought forth today?
No, all right.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Adjourned. Thank you. See y'all.
See ya.
Hello.
Thanks, Aaron.
See you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And you know what? I recognized that voice and I thought, myself, that's Dale.